Hello everybody. Let me get this sorted. Hopefully this will sort itself out. Crikey. What have I done? What have I done? Here we go. There we are. Phew. Well, I hope this is working. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I see me. Hello, Gary. Hello, Well Inspector. So lovely to see you. It's been a bit of a... Alex, hello. Hey, Alex. Voice and video are fine. What about my hair? My hair's not okay, but I'm just being real. This is what hair does. This is what hair does. Sorry, I just wanted to show you all. Look. Look at this. So I've got a little stand. So now I can just read the chat and it's like it's next to me. You obviously can't see it, but it's if I look here, I am reading your comments and I don't have to hold my phone out. Outstanding, says Caprice. Very good. Very good. Oh no, look. Mess. This is my special neck-shaped hot water bottle. Just, yeah. I think I did a big desk tidy and, yeah, it's all a bit... I'm all a bit turned around, everybody. Phone on a stick. You want a phone on a stick, you do. There we go. As long as we've got Will Wheaton in the mix, we're doing okay. Hey, guys. This is so weird, but the last, I suppose, hour, I've been hanging out on Jordan Sorcery's live. He just decided to do a live chat and his cat Martha was on there and yeah, so I popped in on the live and then I thought, hang on a minute, if Jordan's live streaming this Sunday, probably no one's going to come here. So thank you for those of you who've made it. I do appreciate it. Yeah, so yeah. I got a friend to organise my heresy books. Yes, I did. I really did, and that's been so helpful. I've got a few missing, but I'm not going to panic. The next two books, I'm just finishing off Deliverance. What happened to Deliverance? Well, I'm finishing off my first ever Ravengard Horus Heresy book by the amazing Gav, and I think because of the title of the book, I'm guessing that Deliverance, the planet, yeah, is going to get lost. Philip says, hair looks fine compared to mine. Thanks mate. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, my hair, it's doing its grey thing now, which I'm not opposed to. I'm looking forward to going grey. Because then once it's grey, I can start doing like unicorn colours. And it's really weird trying to do my hair because I am mirror imaged or not mirror imaged. I don't know. Mirror imaged. Anyway, that's made it look terrible. Wait, I might have a hat. Let's see if I've got a hat. We've actually got a choice of 3 hats this evening. Don't get this on Jordan's channel, I tell thee what. We get this one, which my friend Grace left. Or this one, which I wear when I'm working on Trench Crusade. Which is, I believe, not finished, but if you were if you were a Finland mountain guard, mountain ranger, this would be your hat. But I've got a really small head, so I have to put a sock in there. Stuff it with a sock. And then it keeps the bit peaky. It also looks a bit Star Wars, like Empire baddies. Suomi swag. Suomi, I hardly know her. But look, if you do this, ta-da! Oh, is the price sticker on there? Suomen equals Finland. So if anyone's interested, apparently this is a small hat size. And yeah, look at it swamping me. Imagine it without the sock. Anyway, and oh, what are you up to, Robbie? Robbie's busy. This is my cycling helmet. I haven't cycled because I've got a hip injury and someone stole my flipping saddle. So yeah. Anyway, that's the tour of the hats. Yes, Deliverance Lost. So can we just talk about what a great book Deliverance Lost has been? Hello, Tuone and Lintu. Such a great book. Told a lot of it from the perspective of a Primarch, which we haven't really had before. We're completely inside Corax's brain. Not only that, we get baby Corax, which is one of my dreams, the baby Primarchs. And we get to see like where the baby chambers were before they got stolen by Chaos. And we get to speak to the Emperor. The Emperor is present. There's bloody Alpha Legion all over the shop, Alpha Legioning it up. I'm really, really, really praying there's a double twist at the end. Because we've been following this Alpha Legion traitor the whole time. And he's like, haha, I'm going to stitch everybody up. So I will be so heartbroken if, you know, the little Raven Guard are doing all they can to get their new Raven Guard people together, and then either the technology is going to spread to all the legions, which would make sense for 40k to be able to happen, or it's going to be destroyed. I don't know. Anyway, I'm worrying about the ending. Multiple Alfariuses. Yes, I think it might enrage Ian, but this might be my favourite legion so far. And also, Corax is really nice to his troops. What's that about? Did we skip the Outcast Dead? No, we love the Outcast Dead. Apart from poor, what's name, the main character was so brutalised throughout. The Outcast Dead. Ian and I have done a video on that. I think it's out. Yeah, that was crazy. I loved the Outcast Dead because it was all held on Terra. We got a smorgasbord of Space Marines. Don't worry, says Philip. Warhammer is famed for its happy endings. Well, let's strike a match. We're using the original Cooks matches, because we know what's cooking. This is a very old box of matches. All I'll say is it has a recipe for Eccles cakes on the back. So, how about that? Made in High Wycombe. Well, customer service is in High Wycombe. Look, that match has got really short. I'm not going to burn my fingers. I'm not a salamander. So, of course, we have our trusty Mr. Pugh. I'm really short of cash this month, so we're going to have to stick with trusty old Mr. Pugh, maybe for a couple of more months. I don't know, something happened to my budgeting, and yeah, I think we'll be okay come summer, but it's going to be a tight couple of months, but that's okay. It's good to budget. So we have fire, and today's candle is Mojo, which I'm guessing is a Joe Malone ripoff. Ooh, flippin' heck. Look how that burns. Terrifying. Oh, I hate fire. I'm going to put this carefully on a plate. And we've got Fig and Rose Mojo this evening. I haven't got my very expensive candle out. That's being saved. Mr. Pugh will do. Outcast Dead isn't out yet. What did we read then? Oh, I think it is if you're on Patreon, right? So if you're on Ian's Patreon, you will have seen the Outcast Dead. There were lots of bits that made me laugh in... Yeah, I was highlighting some bits last night. Lots of humorous bits in this book. Really, really fun. I bought a book of poetry because my friend Nadia and I went to Festival Hall on South Bank. Just casually using a driver's license in there. And any chance of an interview with Gav Thorpe? I have sent him an email, Philip. Hi, Ron's Aura. I will try not to burn myself. I have got a fire blanket. Nothing wrong with Pew. I know, it's just that the fire safety inspector said that that's going to really mess up the flat. But that's fine. At least I won't die in a fire. So, oh yeah, we were tidying up, and I remembered that I think it was Jim that sent me my battle sister. So I might have a think about doing some painting. Adepta Sororitas battle sister with bolter and Astartes chainsword. But I got a poem with my friend Nadia. It's called The Orange by Wendy Cope. And the first poem is called Valentine. So this is instead of a fact of the day, because I love poetry and I thought we could all do with this. It's quite cute. It's called Valentine. Okay. So, one sec. Okay. Here we go. Valentine by Wendy Cope. My heart has made its mind up, and I'm afraid it's you. Whatever you've got lined up, my heart has made its mind up. And if you can't be signed up this year, next year will do. My heart has made its mind up, and I'm afraid it's you. So yeah, that's our poem of the day, which we're just trialing instead of our fact of the day. But that's really cute, isn't it? I have to say, when in my 20s and 30s, I thought unrequited love was frustrating, but what a noble endeavour to chase after someone. And now I'm just like, don't waste your time, girl. Wait to get a Valentine first and then think, oh, they like me. You know, do I like them? I mean, certainly let somebody know if you like them, but, you know, no chasing. Just, you know, life is good by yourself. Will reminds me of all the times I asked my wife to marry me. How many times did you ask, Will? I have to say, I went to Salute. I had the best time. It was super fun. And at one point, so there were like two people at this event that recognised me. One was a chap called Oliver, and he came over and he went, "Oh, how exciting, a celebrity." And he had such a sarcastic tone of voice. And I went, "Eek, not really, but hi, thanks for coming to say hi." And then he went, "Oh, false humility, how charming." And I was like, oh, okay, like either you're negging me or you don't know how you're reading me as something, or, you know, maybe you don't do social interactions that well. I should say at Salute, I have massive social anxiety. That's why I like to work with, I like working with UK games therapy anyway, but I like to work for a charity or volunteer at an event. Oh dear, did he have the fedora? I don't know. Anyway, I think he was a redhead. So anyway, I just said, "Oh, it's really nice of you to come and say hello. Thank you so much." And then shook his hand and off I went. And then the next time I was doing a live, and I think you can actually watch this in my Salute live video. And this fairly handsome man in quite a fun t-shirt, I think it was a Goonies t-shirt. So I thought, amazing, age appropriate if he knows the Goonies. And he was like, "Oh, you Mira Mank or something." He approached me anyway. And I was like, "Yes, hello." And he said, his name's Carl, he's really charming. And I was like, crikey. Anyway, off doing my live, didn't really think anything of it, but was feeling a little bit like, oh, you know, I don't really remember being chased down by a handsome man that often in my life. And he came up later he wanted to talk to me again. And I thought, uh-oh, what is gonna happen? Hey, you guys. Anyway, he came to talk to me again. I thought, what's he going to say? And he went, "I have to tell you about Dan, my wife." And I was like, "Okay, your wife. Okay, great. Good to know. I'm happy for you." He said, "My wife went to see Dan at a book signing and got to ask him, you know, got him to write, 'Will you marry me?' in there. And then she gave me the book and I opened it and I was like, oh my God, you got it signed by Dan Abnett?" And of course I said yes. And then the next time I saw Dan, I told him. And I was like, oh, that's such the cutest heart story, isn't it? So, yeah. So, yay for love. But also, you know, boo for getting negged by someone telling me I had false humility. Maybe I need to work on my acting skills. Or maybe people just expect me to go, yes, aha, that is me. Aren't I great on the internet? So it's all learning. It's all good. There was all the Titan hobbyists were at Salute, and I got to roll some dice. From what I understand, playing Titan games, there are a lot of stages to it. So I think there's like an action stage, and then you have to roll, see if you do damage, and then you have to roll for how many points of damage. And sometimes you have to roll under. There was one where he was like, I need you to roll really low, because I think that was going to say how much damage he had. Then I rolled a 5, which meant that his Titan turned and fired on another Titan in his team. So I think you wait a long time for rounds in Titans, because they had about 7 different players on this massive pitch. But now I've played a Titan Warhammer game, I've completed Warhammer. So, yep, done and dusted. Still saving up for a Warlord, but we'll see how that goes. Aztec says, or Carl's wife was actually asking Dan Abnett to marry. Yep, could be. I mean, many of us would love to marry Dan, were it not for his amazing and talented wife, Nick. Good day. Had a good salute. Yes, fantastic salute. Although I got to bump into lots of friends, but I definitely want to make sure I'm volunteering or working there next year. It's just much nicer for me if I have like a purpose for being there and I get to go and run around for a little while. Wandering around all day. I didn't even go all day. I went for half a day. It's a lot. It's a lot. I didn't spend any money because, yeah, I have misbudgeted. So, but that was really good, because had I got normal money, I might have, spent it all on stuff, which is what you're meant to do when you go to these conventions. Anyway, we have 24 people in the chat, and I think it's probably time to continue our adventures. I feel like Robbie still didn't tell us what he's doing, so now I'm wondering what Robbie's up to. So Will asked his wife to marry at least 4 times, and that's the one that stuck. Oh, tenacity. Stick with it. I love that. Okay. So let me share the infinity screen. Oh, it's lovely to see all the games we've played through. So we had just defeated, well, not defeated, we'd scared off an alien because eagles were sacred to an alien race, luckily for us. So we are now approaching a planet. You increase speed towards a dull blue planet and start to orbit it. Short-range scanners indicate that it's life-bearing. The most heavily populated area appears to be a city in the centre of a large island. You may beam down into the centre of the city, taking any other 3 crew members with you, or you may leave orbit and continue onwards. So I think we would like to take an away team with us, is that right? I feel like that's what we were discussing last time. Away team time, says Tony. Yes, I've got my Star Wars mug to match the sci-fi vibes. Beam for sure, says Caprice in Leet Speak. Oh, hang on, what happened there? Sugar, did I click the wrong thing? Gosh darn it. Ugh. So we're at the blue planet. We're going to beam down. Pick 3 crew members to accompany you to the planet's surface. Yeah, it's a good job you're not wearing a red shirt. I'm wearing green, which I think is the herbalist officer. They don't have green in Star Trek, do they? Blue science, yellow's command, and red is security. Or yellow is security in TNG. I used to have a Nurse Chapel uniform, but can't really wear that out to a con very safely. So let's pick these 3 crew members. What does everybody fancy? We've got security officer, first security guard, second security guard, engineering officer, medical officer, and science officer. Capri says bottom 3, fight any enemies ourselves. We could try that. Science, med, and engineering, says Well Inspector Will. Green equals T specialist. Yep, Gary, we'll take that. I think that sounds good. Kurt Command had a wraparound green shirt. Oh, yeah. Science, medical, and second security. Interesting. Why second security? Well, everyone is saying science. So let's pick a science. Someone said the bottom 3, which includes engineering and medical. And medical is in there twice. And then I think it's going to be a tie between engineering and security. Security! Science. I think security is a winner, and people are saying second security, so let's do that. Ooh, these illustrations are so fresh. I mean, they're not as good as the old illustrations, but I'm glad that they've obviously put some effort in for this new version. You have selected the following crew members to join you: second security guard, medical officer, and science officer. You materialise on the planet's surface and look around. You are in a wide street of some kind, which is completely deserted. Buildings of sorts line the street, and behind you a large building stands at the end of the road. The buildings are strange structures. They are a multitude of shapes and sizes and all look incomplete. Spooky, says Caprice. Second target officer. Very good, Tony. Hello, Happy Haribo. You may either continue down the road, I'm sure that means road, not read, looking for signs of life. You may approach the large building behind you or try one of the smaller buildings. So what should we do, Grimdark buddies? Shall we continue down the road? Shall we approach the large building or try one of the smaller buildings? Large, says Phil. Read. We are reading. We're reading all the time. We had a lovely poem, Live It Large. We're loving it, loving it, loving it. It would be fun if the security chief would start a mutiny now the captain's away. That could be a plot twist to own a Lintu. Large, says Gary O'Neill also. Large is good, says Tuone Lintu. Okay, looks like that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, Will agrees. Steps lead up to the large building. An inscription on the door indicates that it's a building of some importance. You knock, but there is no reply, although you can hear excited chatter coming from within. You try the door, it opens, and you step into a large entrance hallway. Several pairs of aliens in a variety of shapes and sizes cross the corridor in front of you, travelling purposefully from room to room and arguing excitedly with each other. A mysterious creature dressed in shabby blue robes notices you and shuffles over. Oh, a face? Its face cannot be seen, but its eyes shine bright blue at you. It speaks and your translator interprets. Ah, you look interesting. Where do you think the new medicine house should go? You explain that you are new to these parts and that you would like to meet some person of authority. The alien laughs. No one has authority here, my friend. We are all equal. Come, let me show you around. He offers to take you to the main meeting hall, or you could ask for a more general tour. Will said, "Oh no, hippies," immediately. And Haribo says, "The Tau." So what would we like to do, peeps? Should we go to the main meeting hall, or should we ask for a general tour? I always think it's so funny when you come down and you're like, oh, let's go to the biggest building and ask there. Like nowadays, you would probably end up in a Westfield or the O2 or Buckingham Palace. And you would never, you just wouldn't find anyone useful to answer any of your queries. I don't know, if you go to a Lush shop in the Westfield, you'd probably be all right. But it's interesting, isn't it? Hello, Mark Haywards, ever so polite. General tour, please. Damn those archivists, says Happy Haribo. Anarchists. Anarchists are, yeah, General Tour. We are the general. Okay, that's 2 for General Tour. Let's just go General. The guide, who is called Fioral, shows you from room to room, explaining the planet. Our gods are freedom and equality, says the little creature. Yep, hippies, you were right, whoever said that. This is an extremely pleasant planet to live on, and it welcomes settlers of all types. Everyone is entirely equal, whether they've lived here all their lives or have just arrived. Everyone may also do anything they like here. We have no need for laws. Ooh, crikey. Sounds a bit dodge. The greater good, says Happy Haribo. He shows you around the records office, planning area and rooms of state. On the way back to the debating chamber, you pass the guard room. You say, why, if there are no lords, do you have the need for guards? Fioral stops and explains. Guards do not guard things. We do not need to protect things. It's just that some members of our community get pleasure out of attacking others. And of course they are free to do as they wish. But in fairness to the rest of the population, they dress up in uniforms and call themselves guards, so as to warn others that they must be on guard when a guard passes. Do you understand? Whilst you are considering this, however, 3 of these guards have left their room and have crept up behind you. They leap on your backs and wrestle with you. Fioral backs away. You decide to take on the first guard, while the crew take on the other 2. Will says, I have a feeling we're going to be attacked. Will, you are prescient. You are the Kwisatz Haderach. Jim says, the culture. Happy Haribo, Well Inspector, you think? And then Ron says, Drukhari. Okay, let's go. It's time for the fight music, everybody. Let's make it so. Oops, I forgot we can cheat. Look at that, 23-8. 16-12. 17-11. Let's hope our compadres have done as well as we have. Victory! We take down the alien guard. Which crew member would you like to take on the second guard? It's got to be security guard, right? Jim says, is this teaching us the paradox of tolerance? I think so. I feel like we are. Tony says, uh-oh, red shirt, doomed. Will says, rubbish, amateur thugs. Caprice, send the red shirt. Should we just send security? It's what the security guard is there for. It's true. Okay, let's do it. Please, let them not die. Okay. Oh, look at that. A faceless crew. That's so harsh. Crikey, blimey. No hair even. Okay, let's see how we do. Oh, crikey. Oh my god, that was us. We had a really good... Okay. 19-12. Yay! Okay. Which crew member will we take on the third guard? Medical officer or science officer? No hair, says Jim. Alfarius. Does Alfarius have no hair? Are all Primarchs bald? The crew was just photographed in a darkened room, says Haribo. Will says, I think second security has the best stats. Haribo is suggesting we get the science officer in there. Caprice says medical. Well, Caprice and Philip have got the same idea. Medical know the weak spots and know where to stab. So that's 2 votes for medics. Medics in a fight! Medics in a fight! Okay, we'll go medical officer. Okay. Oh, looks exactly the same. Stamina 22, skill 11. That's fine. Still fairly good stats. And I cheat, so. Science officer doesn't. But Primarch's hair comes in bold, emo, beautiful, or buzz cut. Good to know. Will says science officer knows physics. Tony says Primark. Full stop. I must be a Primark. That's what Tony was saying. How do you cheat Dark Souls? We just tap the dice and it allows you to re-roll them if you don't like the result. So I just kept tapping the dice till we got 7 there. I don't need to cheat this time. Or this time. So we have smoked all the guards. If they are beaten to death. Crikey. Fioral steps back out of the shadows and approaches you. He seems not to be in the least bit surprised by the scuffle. You ask why the guards attacked. Oh, for no reason, he says. They're free to do anything they like. We may now ask to be shown the debating chamber. The debating chamber. We may ask to be shown the travel maps room, or we can leave the building and beam back to the ship. So what would people like to do? Look at the debating chamber, look at the travel and maps room, or beam back to the ship? Surely our science officer can do a nerve pinch. I don't know. It didn't specify the type of science officer that we had. Travel maps, of course. You know, we haven't got cartographer Neil here, but I think he'd say maps. Travel and maps. It's a landslide, people. The travel and maps room is in a state of chaos. Books and charts lie all over the floor and the various tables in the room. A small withered alien with a large head, blue skin and long fingers is asleep in one corner but wakes as you enter. You ask first for maps of the planet but can learn little from them. While you wonder whether any of the star chart will be of use, the little man finds a large map and allows you to study it. Apparently you are in a solar system around the sun Magnus. Ooh, apart from this one, there is only one other life-bearing planet in the system called Prax, orbiting Magnus a little further out. Prax was recently devastated by war, and many of its inhabitants left to settle on this planet. The other 2 nearest planets, although light years away, are Cool Matter, orbiting a purple sun, and Macommon, orbiting a double star. No black holes are to be found on the chart. You thank the creature for his help and leave the building, bidding goodbye to Fioral as you leave. Outside, you beam back to the ship. The Red Giant, yes, very good, Gary, is Magnus. Do we have the Master Debater skill? Jim, I try so hard to keep this channel PG-13. Thank you. I don't think Purple Star is possible. A purple sun is possible. Maybe not in this universe with these physics, Will. But maybe in a different universe. Back on the bridge, you set coordinates for your next journey. Another life-bearing planet orbits the same sun a little further out, and you may visit this, or you may head further on towards a purple sun some light years away. What would we like to do, people? Please type either orbit or sun in the chat. Cool Matter, man. Another planet of hippies. Eve Online has purpley stars. They wouldn't make a thing like that up, right? Says Caprice. Sun, I want to be shipwrecked in paradise. Hi, Stuart. Oh my God, don't tell me you're about to get fried food. I want fried food and I had baked potato. I want all the fried things. Will would like to orbit. Philip and Gary would like to head towards the purple sun. Stuart, I understand you need to go and get food, but please do leave your tab open so it appears we have more people watching than we actually do. I did notice that Uncle Jordan Sorcery had about 70-80 people in his chat, so I'm feeling feeling like the small guy. Sun, Wartor planet has bad vibes, says Caprice. Well, that is 75% in favour of a sun. Purple star orbited by Planet Prince. Hello, Gary. Once again, better late than never. Yes, definitely, Gary. Welcome back to our chat. We have Gary P and Gary O'Neill now. Quality over quantity though, Mira. I know, absolutely. There was one thing I noticed about Jordan Sorcery. No one in his chat had any green name, which means that he didn't have very many YouTube members, which is great because I love my YouTube members. So, yay. Yes. Oh, and I should mention, where is the thing? Yes, if you are a Mirror Manga YouTube member, we are going to be reading through the Codex Imperialis second edition, edition, page by page, which is very exciting. So come for the Warhammer, stick around for the poetry and bad hair. You're not small fry, you're bountiful. Your boutique. You're not small fry, you're boutique. And you need new glasses. Woo, says Haribo. Okay, we're going to head into the purple sun. And there are 28 people in the chat. Hooray! Approaching the purple star, your scanners indicate that the second planet has an atmosphere ideal for life. You drop into orbit around this planet and scan the surface. There are strong indications of intelligent activity. Indeed, it's likely that this planet's civilization is further advanced than your own. Would we like to beam down to this planet, or shall we press on? Please type beam or fly into the chat and let me know your choice. Walk like an Egyptian. Very good, Tony. Like it. Phil says beam. Gary says fly. Grey Primer. Hello, Nick. Grey Primer says exterminatus. Haribo says beam. Tony says beam. Will says beam. Gary says fly. Tuonin says bean. Mark, the most polite viewer ever, says beam please. David Gibb, welcome. Beam down to the dark age of technology planet. Bookmark and beam, suggests Caprice. I like that. Really lovely to see the Grey Primer at Salute, and we will be hopefully meeting online to talk about his Eisenhorn diorama. Some really beautiful details in that, so looking forward to that chat. So we're going to drop a bookmark here. Let's beam down. You try an all-frequency broadcast several times but receive no messages in reply. Pick 2 members to enter the transmatter unit and beam down to the surface with you. Now, we've already been told that this planet seems to be more technologically advanced than our planet. So I would be inclined maybe to pick the medical officer and the science officer. Maybe all medical and engineering. But this has nothing to do with me. It's a choose your own adventure book and you are making the decisions. So please let me know in the chat what 2 crew members you would like me to beam down to the planet with. Ron says, disassemble on a molecular level. Aztec says, fly you fools. Will, I don't know what Will's done. It won't show me on my phone. Science and engineering say Nick and Philip Collins. Science and medical say Gary and Will. Well, Will's also saying science and engineering. Gary's saying engineer. 100% looks like science is going. So we'll choose the science officer. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 people have said engineering. Capri, science, and trusty second security again. Tony, second security, refused to go down. He survived 1 mission. Security and science is Haribo. Mark says science and engineering, please. It looks like engineering slightly got the edge. Hello, Jen. Welcome to the chat. Jen says, I had to reload the stream because YouTube apparently didn't want chat to work for me the first time. It's working now, Jen. Stuart, a second security officer equals red shirt. Absolutely. Yes, if you're in the chat, please do a like. And if you can share as a post or a tweet or anything, share the live. Science, medical. I still think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for engineering. And how many for medical? 1, 2 for medical. And how many for security? 1, 2, 3, 4 for security. So engineering it is. David says security, need that ablative armor. Ooh, that looks very glossy. You have selected the following crew members. Engineering officer and science officer. You materialize in a deserted street. Tall buildings on one side tower over you, while on the other side of the street, the buildings are small. Perhaps these are private dwellings. The architecture is alien, but no life of any kind can be seen. In the distance, ahead of you down the road, you can hear a whirring sound. Soon you can see a strange vehicle which seems to be heading towards you. It's a hover car of some kind and is moving slowly. As you decide what to do, your translator picks up a sound. Over here, quick! You look around and see a man-sized, somewhat insect-shaped creature beckoning you into one of the small buildings. Will you follow him in, or will you ignore him and wait for the vehicle to approach? Let me know. What will we do? Jen, just remember to say, what's the worst that could happen? Security officer, not the poor guards. With security in charge, every mission is a suicide mission, says Ron's aura. I think, Ron, how do we say your name? What? Ron Oro. Follow, follow, follow. Ignore him. Let's not involve him in our mistakes, says Will. Oh, that's really kind of you, because, yeah, we are the klutzes of the galaxy. Ignore, says Grey Primer. At the moment, it looks like the follow crowd are leading. Why is there always a picture of Richard Iowadi? I don't know, Happy Haribo. Ron saw like dinosaur. Got it. Thank you, Ron. Good to know. Okay, we're going to follow this creature. You run off the road and follow him into the building. Just in time, he exclaims. You don't want the PCs to find you in the street, do you? You have no idea what he's talking about. You explain you're not from this planet. He is on his guard. You reassure him that you mean no harm, you just want information which may help you get home. And he calms down. You are on the planet Cool Matter, he informs you. The PCs you've just escaped from are the population controllers. On this planet, no one dies, but as the population increases, it is necessary to exterminate some of us to make room for others. The PCs have the authority to exterminate anyone they like within certain quota limits, without reason. They would certainly have killed you had they caught you outside after curfew hours. Suddenly, the door crashes open and 3 creatures in armoured uniforms step in. I thought I saw them enter this building, their leader declares. Outside, he orders. Your host protests that you are aliens and did not know about the curfew laws. But the PC... Oh my gosh. The PC leader points a finger and an electric blue ray burns through his chest. You decide it would be prudent to follow the PCs outside. Did we kill the alien, guys? Woof! Doesn't like PCs, must be gammon. PCs, apparently the Microsoft Apple war really escalated on this planet. Nice one, Jen, I love that. Logan's Run, says Tony. Hello, 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 hello. Don't you know there's a curfew on? Yay! Thank you so much, Grey Primer. Welcome to Mira Manga membership. Thank you so, so much. Do you know what? This is the first stream in a really long time we've had no super likes or memberships given out or anything. I was having a little bit of a panic. I think because I don't think I should watch other Warhammer YouTubers do a live because I think it really crushes my confidence. So thank you so much, Gary, for Dreadnought membership. We really, really appreciate that. All the donations to the channel are greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And traditionally we try and do some fancy effects on the screen, which should come out as hearts or really weird disco type lasers. So thank you so much. Yay! Oh gosh, and yet my mentor is text messaging me. Please do a like if you're watching the channel, subscribe if it's one of your first times here, and also if you can do a share of this on your YouTube post or social, please do that. Embarrassing trying to YouTube. I really need to get like an ad reel I can just roll up through OBS, but thank you so much, Grey Primer. That's very, very kind of you. Philip, we did not kill the alien. He was just standing in the wrong place. Gary says, dang. Ron Saw says, hi, Ian. Ian? Hello, Mira's mentor. Oh, I do have more mentors than just Ian, although Ian is very, very guiding. I think Ian gives me good... The mentorship that Ian gives me is Warhammer lore, helping me to step outside my anxiety, general reassurance, and he just sees the best in me. So that's that kind of mentor. Also, I feel like Will is a little bit of a mentor. I feel like certainly Historica Jamaldus is a mentor. Not only that, he sends me books and equipment. So yeah. I feel Neil is a little bit of a mentor. I feel Gary P, the librarian, is a bit of a mentor. Oh my God! Ronsaw, thank you so much. Yeah! Woo! The advert worked. Thank you so much. We have another Dreadnought member, YouTube Mirror Manga member. That's so exciting. Thank you so much. Dreadnought Parade, and I even got to play with Titans. It's all big mecha today. Have you found you through Ian's second channel? Yes, Arbiter Ian's Precinct. Yes, Ian and I have known each other about 20 years, I think, if not more. Even in death, I still serve. Absolutely. Yay! Thank you for your little rock star sign, Stuart. I learned a new thing today. This is how the kids are doing hearts now. And it's also the rain effect. Who knew? So yes. Okay, we have killed an alien, but we have 2 new Dreadnought members. Thank you so much, Ronosaur and Nick, aka Grey Primer. It's super appreciated. Since the not PG-13 body paint rave, everything on this channel is PG-13 and below. It must be. I have littles that watch sometimes. My nieces and my godsons. You explain that you're from another planet and therefore know nothing of their curfew laws. It's illegal to be outside after curfew, says their leader. The penalty is extermination. Enter this vehicle. Will you enter as they wish? Will we draw our phasers and fire, or will we pretend to comply with their wishes and take them by the surprise? I know what I want to do. I would like to be sneaky, but this is nothing to do with me and everything to do with you. So, yeah, what do you want to do? Philip says, surprise! Not really. He's just saying choose the surprise option. Sick mirror law reference. Not mirror law. Is there mirror law? That's amazing. Surprise, surprise, says Tony. Surprise and ruthless efficiency, says Caprice. Phases for stun, asks Haribo. Yay, sneaky, says Gary. Gary Pilkington, pretend the Herberts. I think we should be sneaky. I think let's be sneaky little rogues. We can do this. You walk up to the entrance door as if to climb into the vehicle. As you pass by the aliens, you signal to the others, and the 3 of you spring on them. This proves to be a rather fruitless exercise, as the 3 creatures are immensely strong. They fling you to the ground, but as you fall, you manage to grab the helmet off of one of the aliens. It stops dead in its tracks in a very artificial pose, as if some switch had suddenly turned off. The leader grabs the helmet and replaces it on his colleague, who instantly springs back to life. You realise you will be no match for the creatures and climb into their vehicles as they have ordered. But your discovery may prove a useful clue in helping to escape from these PCs, as they call themselves. If you proceed along certain ways, you will be called upon to make a skill roll. Your knowledge makes it likely that you will make the right move. 2 will temporarily be added to the skill of a crew member when rolling against skill, which is marked skill. Who thinks some editor... This feels like very clunky editorial text. If there's mirror law, we need Alex from Warhammer Plus to narrate it, lol. Can I just say a thing about... I mean, I have mad respect for Doddy. Very jealous. Doddy gets to do so many fun things for Warhammer Plus TV. But I did I put a meme up on my Blue Sky account, and it was the picture of Will Ferrell with the drummer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, they dress alike, and like Will Ferrell has drumming battles with him. And I wrote under the meme, when you find out that Warhammer Plus is doing a book club program, and in the meme, like, the 2 drummers dressed exactly alike are looking at each other, and Doddy liked it, and I was like, oh my god, Doddy liked my meme, yay. And then I looked back and he'd unliked it. So now I'm worried that Doddy hates me, which is awful because I'm a Doddy fan, although very jealous that Doddy gets to do all the cool stuff and interview all the cool people. Clunky voiceover, methinks, says Tony. I agree. Return to 317. As you enter the vehicle, it rocks from side to side. Your captors climb in and start the hover engine, swinging the car around the way it came. You travel for half an hour or so and finally stop outside a large round building. The O2, I told you. Other similar cars have stopped there as well, and numerous aliens are being led into the building. You're taken inside and put into a room which is evidently a cell of some kind, along with 4 aliens. They seem resigned to the fact that they're about to be exterminated as part of a population control program. You cannot understand why they're so unemotional about their impending death. One of the uniformed creatures calls for your party. You will have to act quickly. Will we try to fight our way out? Will we try to contact the ship? Or alternatively, we could ask to see someone in authority. I have often thought this. Were I ever in any trouble on a planet, I'd beam myself up sharpish. They always come up with it like, oh, there's a storm or the force field's blocking the beaming up ray. But let's choose. So you can choose from fight, ship, or authority in the chat. Jen, I refuse to believe anyone could hate you, Mira, or at least anyone whose opinion matters. I hope so. I think I'm eminently dislikable. I worry. Action Movie Synopsis Book Club is superior. Yay! I'm not sure I like this Doddy now. No, we love Doddy. Doddy is amazing. I wonder if maybe he did a like and then he was like, I can't be seen to like that. Anyway, I like Doddy enormously. I feel like a low flyover with a strong electromagnet will sort this whole planet out. Unless the helmets don't contain iron. Oh, is that true? Electromagnets only work on iron? What? Is that the only magnetized metal? Mind blown, if so. Philip Collins says, authority. Gary says, contact. Will says, authority. Tony says, ship. Gary says, authority. Caprice says, ship. Authority. I would like to speak to the manager, says Tuoni Lintu. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 for authority. And then 3 for contact the ship. So I think let's bookmark this and see if we can talk to the boss. See if there's like a chain of command. You make your request, but the alien merely shoves you forwards. This is not possible, it replies. You are to be taken to the extermination chamber. Oof, we may try to overpower it or we may follow it. So what do we want to do? Fight or follow? Please put that on the chat. Will says, no, many metals are ferromagnetic. That's good to know, Will. Phew. Is mercury magnetic? It can't be, right? Authoritorinos says, happy Haribo. Tuoni Lintu, that sounds more like being a carrot. Will says, heck, oxygen gas is magnetic. I did not know that. Tony says, we're going to Karen it then. And I was ready to Karen, but we weren't allowed. So now we have to either to follow or fight. And it looks like Phil wants to follow to an impending death. But Gary, Haribo, both the Garys have said fight. And you cannot say no to 2 Garys. It's like getting a special hand in poker that crushes everything. The 2 Garys are aligned. So let's try and overpower it. As you follow the armoured guard through a long tunnel, Gary says, Gary O'Neill, we tried peace, now war! Fight, skill time, I think, says Tony. As you follow the armoured guard through a long tunnel, you seize your opportunity and spring. The creature is extremely strong, but your numbers may give you the upper hand. Your skill increases by 2 for this fight. We've got this. Look at our stamina 22 and their stamina 11. We will crush you. Oh my gosh, 14 stamina for a baddie is really a lot though. I think that might be one of the biggest staminas in all the fighting fantasy books we've ever played together. Wow, I really feel this at our core, our heart, when we have to do this. Woo! Yay! We can do it! Oh, look at that, 25 versus 17. If only I had these rolls in life. 21! Woohoo! Victory! Excellent. You defeat the guard. Oh, yes. Raincoast Bear. Hi, Mira. I got back from our local game convention. Trumpeters salute Vancouver, BC in beautiful British Columbia. Welcome, Canada. Oh, Canada. Many games were played. Nickel and iron are most common magnetic materials. I love that. I love that for us. Magnetism for all. In your face, guard, says Happy Haribo. Jen, we love you. You pay attention all the time, just in your own way. Okay, so we head for the centre of the complex, dodging around the corridors so as to avoid the creatures. We try our communicator signal several times, but something's jamming the signal. What did I tell you? You pass one room in which the walls are covered with electronic equipment. Perhaps this is the transmission room, transmitting the signal, which is blocking your own signal to the ship. 2 aliens sit inside, but your attempts to contact the ship on your own communicator have turned them into statues. Entering the room, you play with the controls until eventually a signal comes back through your communicator from the ship. You give the order to beam up straight away. It will take several seconds to fix on your exact coordinates, and while you wait, you remove one of the alien's helmets. Inside the helmet and the creature's head is a mass of electronic circuitry. You had been captured by androids. You keep the helmet for investigation on the ship, and moments later the transmatter beam locks on to take you up. Phew! And no one in the crew was died. I'm so excited, thank goodness. Leaving orbit, you scan space ahead of you. There's a planet ahead some 3.6 light years away, which may support life. You enter warp speed and head towards it. The electronics lab reports that the helmet you brought back was indeed an advanced piece of work. With a few adjustments, they'll be able to prepare it so that when you wear it, your skill increases by 1 point. This will undoubtedly be useful. Yay! Look at us. Let's save with a bookmark here. And PC helmet. Oh, and this is interesting. We have a little gathering of knowledge here. Prax was devastated by war. Cool Matter orbits a purple sun, and McCommon orbits a double star. So, what's happening now? We are now approaching a medium-sized blue-green planet, and we take up an orbit position. Scanning the planet surface reveals several clusters of intelligent life forms. You try to contact them, but nothing comes up on the radio. Will you beam down onto the planet to investigate, or will you leave orbit and continue? What will we do? What are you using as a communicator that you turned aliens into statues? I have no idea, Jen, but we're going with it for the plot. Tony says, yay, Scotty! And Ronosaur says, tech heresy. Raincoat says, that android signed for that helmet. Now he's going to get it deducted from his pay. Raincoat Bearer, hate to break it to you, there was a head inside that helmet. We decapitated and took his head. Probably have to pay for his head as well. Gary says beam. Tony says away team again. I know why Tony's doing this. Tony wants to get the most possible value out of this adventure. And I respect that. I do. I wonder if there's a map in this. Oh, how funny there is. It seems a bit, I mean, I guess they're describing like if you did a hand-drawn map. Interesting. Okay. Good to know. Okay, there are 2 votes for beam and 1 says away team again. So leave. Isn't there a Risa around here somewhere? A riser. Beam says will. Okay. So it looks like we're going to beam down to the planet. Beam those smiles. Okay. Pick our away team, people. Security officer, first security guard, second security guard, engineering, medical, or science. What should we go for? I don't know anymore. I really thought that there was a tip-off that the last planet was technologically advanced, but it didn't seem to manage. Can't visit Risa on a PG-13 stream. Oh no, we're not going to any pleasure planets on this channel. No, go and look at your other Warhammer channels for that. Explore strange new worlds and all that, says Tony. Absolutely. Medical and sciences, Gary P. Red shirt, says Raincoat Bear. Coast Bear. Caprice, medical science, and trusty second security. No fun for Mira. Absolutely no fun for Mira. Engineer, med science, says Gary. First and second security, this one will be spicy. All security, says Haribo. That sounds really foolish and fun. I'm tempted by that, but I'm going to count the votes down. 1, 2, 3, 4 for science. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for security, and then so I think it's going to be a medical. I think it's going to be medical science and security. Let's do medical. Let's do science. And should we take second security guard again? I think that they're our favourite. Jen says, basically, Fulgrim isn't allowed in Mira's chat. He's not allowed for several reasons, to be fair. No, he's horrible traitor, murderous, and disgusting. Worf was second security officer once. Good fact, Stuart. Okay. You have selected the following crew members to join you. You land on the planet and look around. A thunderstorm is raging around you and it is pouring with rain. We can do an effect. You are standing on a rocky ground. You're standing on rocky ground even. About 100 meters from what appears to be a village of some kind. 3 aliens, presumably villagers, are shuffling around about halfway to the village. But as you appear, they are startled and turn to face you. They are strange, podgy creatures with long necks and stumpy legs. One of the aliens turns off and waddles back off to the village at what must be a running pace. The other 2 are advancing towards you with weapons, long pointed sticks drawn. Okay, well, we have options. Wait for them to arrive, walk towards them, or make a dash for the village. But we will have to wait until next time to find out what happens. Because I think we are going to cliffhanger that one. We'll just quit on out of that. Oof, that was fun. I'm guessing the new Fulgrim novel won't be on your reading list anytime soon. I am currently reading Deliverance Lost, and then I'm reading Interceptor City by Dan Abnett, and I do not know when I will ever get time in to do anything out of order. I was speaking to somebody that I think is awesome, and they were basically saying, how many years is it going to take you to get through the heresy? So I'm just determined I'm going to try and read at least 2 heresy books a month. I think I might be able to do 3 heresy books a month. So watch this space. Fulgrim is a no-good scallywag. Oh, hello, Christian Goldsmith. Willkommen. Welcome to the chat. Did you miss a good one? I think so. I'm really enjoying the sci-fi chat. So it's lots of fun. Fulgrim did nothing wrong. Isn't that how the saying goes? Says Gray. Dun dun dun, says Happy Haribo. The traditional cliffhanger, says Caprice. Hey, I got to watch your adventures at London Salute. Thank you, Raincoast Bear. We had a little chat about that. Now, officially, we're ending the stream. I know certainly Robbie generally needs to finish the stream at this time. However, I'm really tempted to run and get my copy of Deliverance Lost to read some bits out of it to you that I enjoyed. So I'm going to run and get that now. If you would like to hang around, you're more than welcome to. If you have to get about your daily life and, go about your business, you're also so welcome to do that. But yeah, if you're still with me, hold on in there, and I'm going to go and grab my copy of the book and we can chat about Raven Guard because they might be my favourite Legion. Okay, so let me put on some music so you are not in silence. What can I put on? Okay. Okay, I'll be right back. Oof. Okay, that song lasted exactly 28 seconds, which was great. So, thank you so much, anybody hanging around. This is unofficial Timeout Extra Deliverance Lost Horus Heresy discussion. Thank you so much. This chair was a gift from Noble Chairs. It's very cool. There is a video of me building this chair with help from the live stream. I think it took about 2 hours and I put the seat on backwards and all kinds of shenanigans. But it's incredibly cool. I love it so much. Yeah, and at the very bottom there's a legend which you can't see, but it says "There is only war" embroidered at the bottom. So, yay! And it even has its own song. I don't know if I have the song in my library, but there is a whole song I wrote called Warhammer Chair. Do you dare sit in the Warhammer chair? Something like this. Do I still have it? No. But, you know, I can put up a link to it. I don't think if you Google it, there's nothing else that comes up under Warhammer. Oh, there's loads. There's flipping loads. I didn't realise you could get it. Maybe we could do a... Let's see. Sorry, I'm thinking aloud. That always takes me a while. With its own music video, I may add. There is only war. Oh, I love life. My poor neighbour who helped me film this. I wonder where those boots are actually. Riker back into the chair. Lol. Oh, look at me. They haven't locked me up yet. That's a bit mad, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, that just goes on like that for another few minutes. So thank you for letting me share about the Warhammer chair. So yes, there was bonus roommate and tea. Yes, wow, Ronosaur, you are an old school watcher. So this is Deliverance Lost. It's one of the Legends collection. So there's actually a good few books that got this treatment. Yep, and it's one of the Hatchet publications. I think someone said that in the chat already. David Gibb, yes, it's from the Hatchet collection. So, and this one was published in 2012. Or is that first published? I don't know when this edition was published. But you get some really cool stuff. You get a timeline for the ages of mankind. You get Alpha Legion revealed. Little featurette. And you get some really nice illustrations. That was an Alex Boyd illustration. And then you get some superb Neil Roberts illustrations of Korax. I'm holding out for a Korax. You recognise now, yes. Look at him. He's so heroic. I'm an Ebo baby, so why don't you kill me? Look at those wings. Very exciting. So, I am on page 292. And the book has I've got like 100 pages to go. So I will finish this tonight. So yeah, Deliverance Lost. I really, really enjoyed this book. So I thought as usual, I have been, and when I come to resell all these on eBay, I'm gonna have to sell them for like 99p because, yeah, I just fill it up with highlights. I haven't done so many notes in this one, but yeah, it's been fairly quick read. I thought they meant the chair was from Hatchet. 1 part a week for 40 weeks to build your chair. That would be amazing. That's the only way I'm going to be able to... Woo! Flipping heck. Star Trek mug is down. Star Wars mug is down. The only way I'll be able to afford a Titan is if we do that. Let me just throw a tea towel on this. Oof. Crikey. The last dregs on the carpet. Thank God my carpet is tea coloured. So I've just highlighted some sections. Thanks for hanging around, those of you who have. I guess there's a lot of Raven Guard fans in the chat. Okay. Okay, so this is about... there's basically a traitor Alpha Legion who's stolen a face from a dead Raven Guard on Istvan and put the face on and is now undercover with the Raven Guard, which is like so horrible. And I hadn't realised how horrible the Alpha Legion were till now. I thought they were a bit like spy skullduggery. Dan Abnett wrote them as really likeable in Legion, which was a previous book in the Heresy. But I absolutely flipping it. I think they're horrible. They're horrible. They've taken someone's face. The last person that took someone's face was the baddie in Nemesis. Do you remember that horrible shape-changing creature? So this is not cool. So it's very interesting. He does have his own name, but he calls himself Alfarius. He was Alpha Legion, and so did not expect to be lauded or singled out. Such glory-mongering was not in the Legion's traditions. He would fulfill his purpose, take contentment from the knowledge of a mission accomplished, and the praise of his twin Primarchs, and become one of many again. I thought that was really interesting because if you're in the Alpha Legion, you're used to being... You have to assimilate, right? It's very Borgish. You are either, you look like Alfarius or Omegon. Omegon? You say Omegon, I say Omegan. Anyway, I thought that was quite cute because as this undercover Alpha Legion goes through living with the Raven Guard, he starts to, well, not only are the memories of the person whose face he stole infiltrating his own and giving him emotions, but he begins to enjoy being part of the comradeship and the team and being praised for his own endeavours. What's the chat saying? Hatchet Titan Club is a hell of an idea, though. I will propose it, Raincoast. Perhaps you'll get famous enough for your book writing to triple the resale value of your books. I was thinking, I don't know if I'll auction or eBay them, but what if when I finish the Heresy, I sell the whole collection? But that'd probably be like £50,000 to post, so maybe I won't do that. So then Corax is addressing his top officers. Are you so sure they will be so easy to break apart, Lord? Asked Agapito. Corax started to walk along the galley. The great arch windows to his right were shuttered with ribbed steel, blocking the view of the warp outside, but he could still feel its presence, like an oppressive atmosphere, a tension that permeated everything. To think that it might be under the control of Horus in some way was disconcerting. Easy? No, said Corax, in reply to Agapito's question. Yet there will be disunity. Even under the banner of the Emperor, my brothers and I could find cause for argument. Horus may have the ears of some for now, but each seeks to profit in his own way from this rebellion. When it becomes clearer that these goals will not be achieved without great effort, their resolve will wane and their common cause will fracture. I think that's so interesting because so far in the Heresy, I've really been thinking, oh, they were all friends, and I'm so sad that there's this split between, traitor and loyalists. But really, what Corax is saying is that there's always been disunity between the brothers, and I think we see that first play out in Horus Rising, maybe, where Horus is displeased about where his father has placed him, and seeks more. And there are always like subtle disagreements, like the brothers were so angry about Magnus practicing sorcery. So it's interesting seeing it in the light of a brother talking about just the struggles of like unity even before the heresy started happening. I bet he can eat a peach for hours. I hope that's not a rude thing. I don't know what that's about. Nicolas Cage. Blood Angels all the way for me, says Grey, but Raven Guard have great iconography. We're all just emo Astartes, baby. Got tickets. Got tickets to Becca Kinski, baby. I'm so going to use that on Arbiter Ian Book Club. Thank you, Haribo. Many of the Horus Heresy books are not in print and get big collector's prices. Yes, because I thought I'd lost my last book and I had to pay for a new one from Amazon and it was 30 quid. Damn Horus's heretic ears. Stuart, Nicolas Cage could eat peaches for you, peaches for me. Oh, yes. Oh, the peach thing is a line from Face Off. Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Very, very good. Yes, I get it. Thank God it's not the film I was thinking of. Hell, the loyalists can't even avoid arguing each other. Yeah, I'm now kind of understanding it. And I guess it's a bit like any empire, trying to keep it together. And then here's a question I'm going to ask Ian. When Corix had departed, Bran, Agapito and Solaro made their way back to the quarters they now shared. Why did you mention hope, brother? Bran asked harshly. Do you not remember those same words he spoke at Gate 42? It was just a turn of phrase, brother, said Agapito, clearly taken back. Of course I remember Gate 42. Who could forget that slaughter? And I think that's one of two things. One is I think that's giving a hint that Agapito may be an undercover Alpha Legion. I don't know, so don't spoil me. And the other one is, I don't know if I've missed something in the book, but I don't know what Gate 42 is yet. Is that something in Warhammer lore, or is that something that's going to be revealed in the book? So we'll figure that out. And then there are a couple of characters who are not Space Marines. There is a character called Valerius, who I feel is like PDF guard. He's an Imperial guard. He's not a Space Marine. And he has he has to go to Terra to report with the Raven Guard. And he has a servant called Pelon, who I think is a bit dodgy. So that was interesting that they always take the little humans along with them. Jen, I was reading a Bad Ab War thing and a character basically demanded they be allowed to go home because one of the loyalist chapters had some, shall we say, morality issues. 42 is the answer to everything. You are correct. Okay, and then, as you all know, one of my favourite things is when the Primarchs are having a chat. And in this, we get Corax talking to Rogel Dawn. Is that you, Corax? It's about time you contacted me, brother. I was wondering if the news that you were still alive had yet been another breakdown in the communication. Brother Rogel, yes, it is Corax, replied the Primarch. If you do not find me an orbital station in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to use my weapons batteries to make space for myself. There was a short but hearty laugh over the Vox. Ha 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 ha! That would not be a good idea, said Rogel Dawn. I heard that you'd arrived, but then I must admit that your whereabouts were washed away in all of the other clutter. Do you want to berth at a platform or take up an independent orbit? We need to resupply, said Corax. I'll shuttle down with an advance guard. I will send you the coordinates of the Beta Styx platform. It has a fully stocked victualling yard. You can come down to Lionsgate Port and I will dispatch a delegation to meet you. A delegation? Too busy to greet your brother in person? Yes, I will be back at the Imperial Palace within the day. Understood, brother. I wish our reunion was in much lighter times. It is not for our kind to meet in peace, brother. You should know that. We will talk more tomorrow. I have something I must attend to urgently. It made me so sad because they've never known a life where they can just be brothers. That made me really sad. I know they are created like the fifth element just to be weapons, but that's quite a killer line. I mean, it's not good for a t-shirt, but it is not for our kind to meet in peace, brother. You should know that. How heartbreaking. And then, this is why I think the Raven Guard might be one of my favourite legions. So, Agapito and Bran are like besties. And they're having a chat. You misunderstand me, brother, says Agapito, with a sorrowful shake of the head. It's not personal, but you can never understand what it was like to be there. He's talking about Istvan. I don't begrudge your absence. I envy it. You haven't talked about the drop site at all, to me or the Primarch, said Bran, his anger punctured by Agapito's confession. Some of the others, they have found it helpful to discuss what they saw, to share their stories. Tell me, what happened to you at the drop site? No, said Agapito, stepping away. Some stories are best left untold. You do not want to know what I did at the drop site. And again, I'm like, is that a hint? Agapito is a traitor? But then what I double noticed was like, oh my God, this is the first time maybe that we've had Space Marines encouraging each other to talk in a therapeutic way, to share their stories. I mean, I guess we saw a little bit of that with the Space Wolves in Prospero Burns, where they have their death ceremonies and funerals and storytelling. But this felt really personal. I just thought that was really nice. Yes, Agapito, Jim. I don't know how to pronounce all these. I'm sure Ian will tell me. It's a grimdark family soap opera, says Tony. Lehman Russ, multipass. Don't mention the drop site. I think I mentioned the drop site, but I think I got away with it. Very good Fawlty Towers reference. So then here's another thing. We're going to Earth. We're arriving at Earth on a spaceship. We're going to go to the... I'm so excited. We're page 111 and I realise we're going to the palace. We're going to talk to the Emperor. Large platforms could be half seen amongst the dense cloud, drifting serenely through the air, surrounded by swarms of shuttles and cargo lifters. The closest floating city, its name unknown to Alfarius, was glimpsed between breaks in the whiteness. A mass of towering buildings, winding roadways, and landing aprons. So there's like Cloud City castles on the way to Terra. That was just absolutely enchanting. And then, on Terra, at the bottom of the Emperor's Mountain, there's only an underground lake surrounded by crystals. Lit from below the water's surface by powerful lights, the stalactite clustered ceiling glittered with crystal deposits that glinted in the dappling glow from the waters beneath. Ah, we're off to see the Emperor. I know, but I feel like there was an Eisenhorn location where he had a secret lake. But I'm so excited because I think if I was playing a heresy game on Terra, you could play like a floating island, or you could play like the hidden lake below the palace. It's just really exciting, the world building around the Emperor's house. Jen's saying we all went down to Imperial Palace. Corvus Carrix went down with Alice. Are you joking me? I think I get that reference. I'm just looking behind me to see if I've got any Winnie the Pooh books to hand. I think that's where Christopher Robin is the reference you're giving me, Jen. Don't challenge me on my Winnie the Pooh knowledge, unless you want me to go on about Winnie the Pooh. Oh, here we go. This is one of my favourite self-help books. Hang on a sec. Oh, I'm really getting up and down tonight. The Tower of Pooh, in which the way is revealed by the Bear of Little Brain. And I'll read you a little quote. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Okay. Pooh wants us to know, how the hell did we take this turn? This is how Jen's brain works. And now we're stepping into Jen's world. Pooh wants us to know that the words Cottleston pie are a way of saying inner nature. I'm going to cry. This is so lovely. So by substituting that term for the last line in each verse of the song, we get, ask me a riddle and I reply inner nature. Cottleston pie sounds better, says Pooh. Well, how about this, Pooh? Ask me a riddle and I reply, things are as they are. Better, but it still doesn't rhyme. All right, how's this? Ask me a riddle and I reply, Cottleston, Cottleston, Cottleston pie. Just right, said Pooh. Now that we know the principle, we can look at its applications. As we've likely recognised by now, no two snowflakes, trees or animals are alike. No two people are the same either. Everything has its own inner nature. Unlike other forms of life, though, people are easily led away from what's right for them because people have brain, and brain can be fooled. Inner nature, when relied on, cannot be fooled. But many people do not look at it or listen to it, and consequently do not understand themselves very much. Having little understanding for themselves, they have little respect for themselves, and are therefore easily influenced by others. But rather than be carried along by circumstances and manipulated by those who can see the weaknesses and behaviour tendencies that we ignore, we can work with our own characteristics and be in control of our own lives. The way of self-reliance starts with recognising who we are, what we've got to work with, and what works best for us. So, really helpful book. For those of you who suffer anxiety, very helpful, lovely book. I don't think there are rules for playing heresy games on Earth. I don't play it though, so I could be wrong. Capri says, I love this lake room. I want a Primark Australia set there where the heresy never happened and they live in their little assigned apartment complexes. Me too, Tony. Emperor's Jacuzzi, love that idea. Haribo, Defo, AA Milne. Day Trip to Bangor, says Caprice. A very fine book. Oh, bother, said Pooh. The Tao of Pooh and All Things Grimdark. Quite the yin and yang. I know, right? I noticed we've now gone down to 19 viewers. The Zen Art of Pooh Corner. I can't help having a weird brain. I'm a writer. You need a weird brain for that. I agree. Pooh is the Primarch of which legion? Haribo. Next, the Tigger Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Raincoast Bear, S Legion. Caprice. Oh, AU is Alternative Universe. Look at that lingo. So, this is really exciting. You all know I love the Primarch origin story. So, Corax is exploring the quarters around the magical lake. After spending some time marvelling at the beauty of the lake cavern and taking a few minutes to explore his immediate surroundings, the Primarch chose to rove further afield. There were several other self-contained habitats in the vicinity, facing onto a circular plaza decorated with an abstract mosaic. All of the other residences looked empty at the moment. Corax counted 20 of them, a number that was surely not a coincidence. That answered the question of how long ago they'd been built, for surely a more recent construction would have numbered only 18. So they were all going to live together around the lake before the chaos stole the little Primarch babies. And then we learn straight from the Emperor's mouth about Mendelian eukaryotic genesis formula. Mendel, I think, is a reference to the monk Mendel, who figured out geneticism. Eukaryotic, I don't know what that means. And then Genesis formula is the genesis of the Primarchs. So that, I mean, that's the secret, right? We have learned the secret of how the Emperor is making the Primarchs. Like, this is the most information we've ever had in a heresy book around all the mystery around the Emperor. Like, maybe it wasn't a mystery. Maybe everyone already knew this, but I'm just finding out. So, yeah, this book is amazing for me. So, somebody watched Adric this week. Adric from Doctor Who? Andrew Cook, I thought you might have been doing a pilot for Amira Reed's Pooh channel. Maybe I should. Pooh would be the Primarch of the Space Bears. Yeah, Space Bears. What if every Primarch was a Pokemon? I would let them all go if they were. They still won't tell us who those two Primarchs are. And also, I find it interesting that Corax is Primarch number 19. So it wasn't like, oh, they took the last two. 2 Primarchs were knocked out of sequence. I found that really interesting. Genesis device from Star Trek 2, yes. With Paul Kirk's son, David. Alex says, yeah, you get loads of juicy info in this book. That's why I really like it. I'm surprised because I suggested this for a book club and everyone's like, no, let's talk about the next one. But I think this one is amazing. Adepticus Ridiculous, Bricky's podcast. Good to know. There's a YouTube channel who made a custom channel called a chapter called the Space Bears. I'll have to look that up. Okay. Yes. So the reveal. Like his brothers, Corax's intellect was as enhanced as his body, and his brain was a vast repository of knowledge, both military and technical. There was something new in there as well, placed at the same time as the memories. This is Corax being installed with all the Emperor's memories. In his mind's eye, he saw genetic splicing and hybridization calculations and understood now that the Mendelian eukaryotic genesis formula was the first ever successfully cloned human gene code. He understood the mechanics behind his own creation and marveled at the ingenuity of the mind that conceived of them. There were areas that were left blank, intentionally, he assumed, details of the parts of the Emperor's own genetic strand that were employed in the creation of the Primarchs. Obviously, the Emperor did not trust Corax that much. There were other memories too. The dismantling of the laboratory after the strange warp phenomena that had swept away the incubators and scattered them across the galaxy. Corax saw it being reassembled in another place, far from prying eyes. He knew where that place was. And I'm like, are we going to find out where it is? And yes, we get to find out where it is, but not before the Emperor. See, this is why I feel so bad for Magnus. Magnus doesn't know this because he got in through the webway and the Emperor didn't even have time to talk to him. He just said, Father, and the Emperor said Magnus, and that was it. But the Emperor explains everything to Corax. This is all we've been waiting. This is all the Emperor had to do. You have given me the secrets of the Primarch project, said Corax, his voice a whisper of amazement. The parts that were relevant to the creation of the legions, yes, said the Emperor. He did not smile. I must return to the webway. My absence will be sorely missed. That is all the help I can offer you. The webway. And this is it, guys. This is the killer. A portal into the warp of sorts, said the Emperor. This is my great endeavour. Beyond the veil of reality, the forces of the Imperium wage war with a foe just as deadly as the legions of Horus. Demons. Corax knew the word, but did not understand why the Emperor had used it. Demons, said Corax. Insubstantial creatures of nightmare? I thought they were a fiction. No. In truth, they do exist, said the Emperor. The warp, the other realm we use to travel, is their home, their world. Horus's treachery is greater than you imagine. He has aligned himself to the powers of the warp, the so-called gods of chaos. The demons are now his allies, and they seek to breach the imperial palace from within. My warriors fight to hold back the incursion, lest terror be overrun by a tide of chaos. Anyway, there's more stuff that makes me emotional, but I just feel like I've been waiting for this for so long, but it makes me really, really sad. Anyway, long story short, he gives Corax information on how to make new Legion members using the gene code stuff. And he says, you have to be so careful this doesn't fall into the wrong hands. No one can know. And then Corax takes a bloody big gang, including a Mechanicus, who, you know, and a bloody Alpha Legion traitor. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So then there's a conversation between Corax and Dawn. You have everything you need, asked the Imperial Fist Primarch. If not, it's too late to worry about it, replied Corax. We will adapt. Dawn did not meet Corax's gaze, but stared out into the distance to where sheets of rain fell on the steel-girded gantries and black-tiled roof of a half-built gun tower. I know that the Emperor has given permission for this venture, but I cannot allow you to leave without asking you one more time. Will you not bring the Legion to Terra? My mind is set, said Corax. The Emperor has shown me a way to bring the Raven Guard back into the war in a way that suits us all. I don't know what it is that you're after, and unlike you, I know better than to ask, said Dawn. I trust the Emperor to know best. That implies that you do not necessarily trust that I do? If the Emperor wills it, I am agreed. I do not have doubts about you, Emperor. We must forever hold the Emperor's judgment as the highest there is, or we must wonder if we are nothing more than creations of vanity. He is the master of mankind, and he will steer us to enlightenment. He made us what we are, but I cannot divine his purpose anymore, said Corax. Do you think we failed? We conquered the galaxy in his name, brother. We brought humanity into the light from the darkness of old night. He created us for that purpose and no other. The Emperor also created Horus and made him Warmaster, countered Corax, unsettled by Dawn's words. He brought the lights of Night Haunter into his plans. What else could he have done, said Dawn. Kurz is one of us, though perhaps a victim of circumstances none of us can even imagine. I know better than anyone exactly what he's capable of. Corax nodded grimly. The likes of Kurz and Angron were broken from the start. You know, the ultimate sanction open to the Emperor. He could have... Dawn raised a hand before he could finish. I found your doubts disturbing, brother. It is still the Emperor's will that mankind become masters of the galaxy. So, Night Lords gets a mention. Kurz did something horrible to Dawn, and something terrible was done. But even one of the Primarchs is like, oh my god, why did Dad create Angron and Kurz? So now I'm really worried about reading more books about those legions. I'm sure they will be very, very dark and twisted. But, you know, all these little sneak peeks is very interesting. We still have 20 of us in the chat. Thank you so much for staying. Okay, so someone earlier was saying there are lots of humour in this book. So they've got to open this incredibly complicated, you know, they're trying to find where the Emperor hid the gene lab, and they get to this bit. The expedition reached the far end of the corridor to find that 3 doors each had a keypad set into the wall next to them with only 2 buttons on each. Perhaps some kind of binary code is required, suggested Nexin, examining the central doorway. Or a finger, said Agapito, pushing an armoured digit into the upper button. It's an elevator? I thought that was really funny. And then also, they all argue about who gets to go in the lift. So they all decide we all have to go in the lift. And it says, several of the legionaries had to suffer the indignity of riding on the backs of the tracked servitors as there was not enough room for them to all fit on the elevator. I thought that was a really beautiful, a little beautiful detail. And then those of you who we were reading short stories in the Age of Darkness, and Liar's Due by James Swallow, you can see that interview on my channel, was all around a small planet where somebody loyal to the Alpha Legion had gone to spread confusion and dissemination and take the planet down from the inside. And we get a little shout out to this strategy by the Alpha Legion. It was better that Horus's version of events was heard first, casting doubt on the rumours and propaganda that would be following. Part of the bargain agreed with the Warmaster was for the Alpha Legion to spread disinformation ahead of this, while seeking new forces for Horus's cause. It was a mission Alpharius and Omegan were well prepared to undertake. On many other worlds, Alpha Legion operatives and legionnaires were already sowing discord amongst the Emperor's followers, and stoking thoughts of rebellion in those who had been forced into compliance by the Legion Astartes. So I just thought, yeah, it's interesting to see that in action in a short story and then read about that in the book. And then, oh, sorry, I can't believe it's so late. Sorry, chaps. Oh, and then there's a fabulous visitation by the Emperor. The Emperor has a spaceship that's gold in colour, that's shaped like a great mechanical bird of prey, with angled wings that stretch back like those of a diving hawk. And then when it's talking about the Emperor, it says, Corvus directed his attention to the man descending the landing ramp. He seemed unremarkable. In fact, he seemed so unremarkable that Corvus could not discern a single distinguishing feature about him. He was of average height with dark hair and moderately tanned skin. In build, he was neither bulky nor slight, but of normal proportion, slightly larger than the malnourished men who now abase themselves before him. He was dressed in a robe of white linen, free of ornamentation except for a necklace of gold on which hung a pendant fashioned in the shape of an eagle with outspread wings, a lightning bolt in its claws. The man's eyes were as indistinct as the rest of him, neither blue nor grey nor green nor brown, but a flecked mixture of all of them. Yet there was something in those eyes that reached into Corvus and touched upon his inner self. There was wisdom and kindness there, and antiquity that was very humbling, but also disconcerting. At the same time as Corvus saw this, he also witnessed the arrival of a demigod, wreathed in golden light and dressed in white finery that burned with its own light. He saw a stern face set with two golden orbs for eyes, piercing in their intensity, searing into the core of his being. The stranger seemed to tower over the kneeling men, borne forward on a carpet of undulating flames. It was impossible to reconcile the two images. The supreme, grandiose king of men approached Corvus, but all the while the slight, unimposing man flickered within. Finally, Corvus's mind could fight no longer against the glamour, and he saw the new arrival as his followers did, and was filled with an overwhelming urge to pay obeisance towards this stranger. So, you know, the more I read, the more I understand that this is the last we'll ever read about the Emperor. And yeah, I mean, it's so incredibly maddening that you come into a franchise that relies on the Emperor being dead in all of 40k, and then you get these glimpses, and yeah, it's a made-up sci-fi world about plastic soldiers, but yes, it makes me feel all the things which I love. So I'm really, really enjoying this book. Thank you everyone who hung around to have a little dip into it with me. Andrew, some of us may have only just gotten up as we live on the other side of the world. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, mate. I hope you had a good sleep. Haribo says Rogel Dawn is a bit of an odd duck. Tony says Grimdark Lift Muzak. Perhaps the Primarchs lacked a mother figure to teach them how to compromise. Yes, but a mother or father figure can teach how to compromise, you know. I ended up liking a lot of the Primarchs I'd never really given much attention to before because of the heresy, Dawn, Corix, the Khan, etc. Me too, Alex, because I've never read anything else, but I'm not convinced about the Khan. Raincoast Bear says, are the Alpha Legion not 8 foot tall post-humans like other Astartes? How could they go undercover as a normal human? Sorry to disappoint. It wasn't a Alpha Legion that went undercover in James Swallow's short story Liar's Due. It was like just an Alpha Legion aligned human, I guess. So I guess they have human troops. If the likes of Magnus and Kurz only knew, they'd be so insanely jealous of how Corax gets treated by the Emperor. I know, and I was wondering, is it because Corax is the baby, like he's number 19? I don't know. Tony made up. No. Jen, once every couple of years, people think the Emperor's going to come back somehow. Maybe. I mean, would it ruin all of 40k if he does? If I was making an Amazon series, I would be like, let's bring the Emperor back. I hope the Amazon series is not 40k. It's going to be 40k. Never mind. Alex, it's a made-up world about plastic soldiers, but it's a bloody brilliant made-up world about plastic soldiers. Andrew Cook, he's not dead. He's pining for the fjords. Oh, it's a very Adrian Mole / Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. # Norwegian guidebook reference. Anyway, thank you for staying a lot later this evening. It does feel a lot better to read along, and it's that Sunday evening feeling. I'm aware the Sunday scaries might be coming. I'm determined not to let them. I'm going to have a real nice, I'm going to have like a hot drink of chamomile tea. I'm going to read a little bit of my book before going to bed. I'm going to try and do some meditation. I've still got the fig and rose candle going, and it smells really lovely and relaxing. So just urge anybody, I know that some of us here suffer from the old Sunday scaries or Monday morning scaries. So just everyone go really gently with yourself, and I hope that you have a peaceful evening. I love you all lots. I really appreciate you hanging in, especially to Rhinosaurus and to Grey Primer for joining as Dreadnought members. I'll make sure that this week we do some reading. Oh, yay! Thank you so much, Alex Sinclair. That's so kind of you. Great stream as always, and bonus Primarch chat as well. Well, I was just so delighted, and you guys know how much I love Primarch chat. So yay! Confetti and balloons. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that, Alex. So thank you so much, Grey Primer, Rhinosaurus and Alex. Yes, it makes me feel like a real YouTuber, and I appreciate all of you staying up to chat with me as well. David says, maybe the Emperor will return as a god of law and the endless struggle against chaos will continue. Maybe they'll start 50k and the Emperor could be back. And the 2 missing Primarchs. Gary says, always fun, Mira, thanks. Gary, lovely to see you. Say hello to your lovely wife and cat. Sadly, mine are more whenever my anxiety feels like it's scaries. I'm with you, Jen. I'm the same. Last weekend, Monday was horrendous. I'm just praying that we all have a calmer week. Do Dreadnought members have to go on ice between chats? I think they just sit in their little robot body and just watch. If anybody reads Murderbot, the series is coming out on Apple really soon. Murderbot is a series by Martha Wells. It's a great series. I recommend it. I imagine in that series, the Murderbot, watches soap opera. Soap operas in the downtime. So I imagine Dreadnoughts have a little soap opera channel. Loose Primarchs, the chat show. I mean, that would be amazing. Jen says, technically it should be called 41k now. Thank you very much, Jen. Are you still going to be reading Arzamen and Jane Czar soon as well? Remind me what those things are, Jim? I do not know. I don't know what they are. Are you talking about... They are the Space Elf books. Yes. I need to finish Deliverance Lost and the one after it. And then I have to read Interceptor City. And then I'll read a Space Elf book. Thank you for reminding me. Space elves. Space elves. Elves, Mr. Frodo. Elves. Gosh, I'm tired. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all those 19 amazing people that stayed late. Alex, Rhinosaurus and Grey Primer, thank you so, so much. Jim, I need to buy Azaman and the other one, so thank you for the reminder. But have a lovely night, everybody. Thank you all so much. Thank you for bearing with. Oh, Sean, oh, mate. Sean, we missed you. Like, have a great day, mate. I'm sure it's pretty bloody early, like 6 or 7 a.m., right? So have a great day. I don't know why my accent's gone so wild. That's but yeah, lovely to see you, Sean. For everybody, Sean helped me with the colouring of my Mirror Manga merch. The Emperor Inspects, complete with clipboard. I can feel my heart dying as the Emperor's impending doom closes down within the next 40 novels, so I'm making the most of my Emperor merch, but I think I'm going to be pretty broken by the end of the Heresy. And so are the Space Marines! But yeah, have a lovely evening, everybody. So good to see you all. Eldrad probably turns up because he refuses to pick a gain system and stick to it. Elves in space, says Nick. Azaman and Janes are our legendary Eldar heroes. Okay, good night, you all. Good night, Twenty Lintu. Good night, Caprice. Ciao for now. Go well tomorrow. Yes, yourself as well, Haribo. Good night from to Vancouver, Rain Coast Bear. Good night, Gary. Yes, Nick, it was so lovely to meet you and get a hug. We'll talk about the diorama soon. Good night, Jen. Sleep good, right well. And yeah, good night, Gary. Lovely to have you back with us again. And we'll see you next week. Bye, Alex. Make sure you send lots of flower pictures and gardening stuff tomorrow. Bye.